everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Megan. I am an architectural designer based in Arkansas, and today we're going to be working on finishing up this house that we've been working on for several weeks. I'm really going to try to get us to finish this tonight, even if it takes a couple of hours. If not, then we'll try to finish up next week, but we're just going to go ahead and jump right in so we can get after it. So I'm going to share my screen. If you are joining us for the first time, go back and check out all the previous episodes so that you can get caught up to this point. And this is going to be super basic, but it's doable. So here we go. We've got Revit going here. I have got a list of things that we're going to tackle just as quickly as we can. So I'm going to talk even faster than I usually talk. First off, I do not love the color of these beds, so we're going to change them. It's just like a light, but I feel like I just jumped in here so fast that I'm just missing something, but I don't know if anybody's actually watching this live right now, so it's just me talking to myself for the moment. All right, so this frame, we went into the type properties for this bed. This frame is just this birch color. I'm just going to change it to white because we've got a lot of white going on in here already, and that will just give it, yeah, we're using that white paint. That'll just give it a cleaner look, and I don't mind the linen being the color that it is. Oh, and this was a king size and this was a queen, so we've got to change those separately. White. Oh, I feel like that was like no intro. Let's get started. All right. We have our beds changed. Checking my list. The washer and dryer. Now, I was really happy to find this washer and dryer. I don't know if this was last week or the week before when we did this, but I don't like how the body of this, a lot of times these default things, I think we have the same problem with the fridge. They make the box black. I hate that. So we're going to make it stainless to match the front. So it's just got this stainless steel sitting here, but the appliance body, it's black, and we want to change that. It should be really close here. Yeah, we're just going to do this stainless steel. Hit okay, and I think everything else is fine. It was just the body that we wanted to change. I don't really like the door being that color either. Let's go ahead and change that door. Yeah, we'll just make it the same. All right, we're going over here and, excuse me, typing in stainless. We just want that same plain stainless steel. Yeah, that'll work. So let's change the same thing for the washer. That was the dryer. We're going to change the body to, it's right here, stainless steel. Hope y'all can see me okay. Can't move things around today. And the door. That's stainless. There we go. Okay, those look just a little bit, they look kind of boring, but I actually want them like that. I want them to be just pretty simple. So, what's my next thing? Aha. So we left the kitchen super basic. We've just got base cabinets. We've got a gas range put in here, dishwasher, refrigerator, and they're just in cabinets with no detailing on them. We haven't even put a sink in here. It's just model lines because we're not really going to be showing this much. But I do want to show some upper cabinets, and I debated whether we should do upper cabs or open just some open shelving, and we're going to go with upper cabinets because that's probably more likely to be used in a house like this anyway, but it's going to be simpler for us to just do super basic. So we're going to make it as another custom in place family. So it's going to be super basic. If you're in Revit LT, you can't do this. You'll have to have a separate family, but we're gonna roll with this right now. Okay. Now we're going to do an extrusion. We're going to set the work plane as the top of that cabinet. And I'm going to go ahead and go to the first floor view. We're going to pick lines. We're going to go right here and we're going to go here. And I'm going to make this all one extrusion. I'm just kind of going around the edges here. I'm going to offset this. Well, here we're right here, 1 foot from the back because upper cabinets are 1 feet deep, 1 foot deep. And we don't need to offset anymore. We'll go ahead and put here, and we're going to adjust these a little bit. So this is just for basic. So we've got a couple of places we need to split. SL keyboard shortcut for split, there and there. Now we're going to go trim around to clean things up a little bit. Oh, we've got a couple more places we'll have to split. But we're getting this. So sometimes I will make those separate families, but for today, we're just going to let this all be one. Now, if you're doing a sweep or something, you can't do multiple closed loops. We can do this because it's just an extrusion. So we can go ahead and finish that and just kind of see what it looks like. I like super bleh right now. We're going to change the height of it because right now it just, we'll edit in place and click on it. Right now it just defaulted to 1 foot tall and it's right on there. But what we want to do is we want this to be 18 inches from the base cabinets, from the countertop, because that's standard. Sometimes people go a little bit lower, but that is standard. And then if we want these to be, say, 3 feet tall, they're going to need to be 4.5 feet, and that puts them up in a pretty decent range. So we'll leave those there, and that looks, I haven't closed out yet. That looks pretty good. And we've got a couple of views down here that we can just check. I think, no, I think that's going to be good. We'll just leave that like that. This is intended to be pretty basic. So now the one thing I am going to go change, we're going to edit the shape of this just a little bit because it's too close to the window and it's too close to the range hood. So I'm going to, that's 2.4. Let's just push that, make that 2 feet right there, and then push this. We'll move it over. And then let's do the same thing here. We're going to move this over 4 inches. And we're just giving it some breathing room around the range hood and the window. Okay. I got caught in a group text, y'all. Okay. Boom, on silence. So let's look what that looks like. That's better around there. Now, you know, you could put these all the way up to the ceiling if you want. You could do something across the top of the window. This could be a lot of different things. Right now, we're just going to do this because this is pretty standard and we are going for very basic. So now we've got some upper cabinets in there. These were just a few things that I wanted to clean up in the model before we really moved on. There's one other thing. I guess we already did that. We've got our doors look pretty good. Our windows look pretty good. Our trim, it's not anything fancy. It's just basic, but it'll work. We've got our porches. That's all looking good. Window locations, they're simple. They're straightforward. They're good. That's all looking really good. We've got just a few components in there. That's all we need for just showing this is what we're doing. And so now we've got a couple of other things that we need to do. We've pretty much finished our modeling. I do want to check the location of this island just real quick. So I'm editing it here since this is in place. And I actually, You know, I'm going to put this 3 feet out here. Let's do that. Oops. Just because I want to make sure, did I say 3 feet? I want it 3.5 feet. And, there. I like that a little bit better. Since I ended up putting the range over here, I like for there to be a little bit more room behind that. First of all, because, you know, when someone's standing at the range, I don't want them bumping into anyone or anyone bumping into them. And then also, you have to take into consideration your oven door coming down, which I'm not the kind of person that, oh, you have to have room to walk around that or anything, but it's not a bad idea to leave a little bit of extra space there. So this is one of those things, you're putting an island, whoever's going to actually build this house, if somebody ever does build this house, they're probably going to put that island wherever they want to put it. And that's the great thing about islands. You can just kind of scoot them around. The sizing is what's going to be really important. And it could align with the edge of this, but I'm going to leave it in here right now. This will seat 3 people comfortably, and it could be expanded a little bit to seat 4, but I think 3 is pretty good for this house. So we're going to leave that like that. We need to check our dimensions and check a few things on construction, just on the floor plan. But we've got one thing that we've got to do that's really important, and that is to work on a door and window schedule. So I can move things around. Okay. We're gonna go up here to the annotate tab, and right over here where it says tag by category, TG is the keyboard shortcut. This is one of the keyboard shortcuts I never use, because I don't do this just a whole lot. It's kind of like you do it when you do it, and that's it. It's not one of those things you use all the time. So we're going to click on that. And what we're going to do is come in here, and I'm going to click on each window and door. So you want to make sure that you're not catching like the wall. If you've got a big diamond shape, and pay really close attention to what's highlighted in blue. If I'm catching any of this other stuff, I'm not going to get the right shape. So the window is going to be this hexagon, and then doors are going to be this kind of oval shape. So I'm going to click on, see, I accidentally clicked that because I got in a hurry. I don't want to tag my floor. I'm just tagging windows and doors, and I do tend to go all the way around the outside first. Ah, I did it again. It's a little, you know, if you zoom in, it'll help you. Make sure you're grabbing the right thing. That was all of those. Okay, so you're going to catch every single door. Oh, I already got that one. So I did it twice, and you can tag something twice. And no, there's no reason to. Okay. I think we got all of them. So now what we're going to do is go move these into a better location. I like for my window types, and this might come down to, I'm sure that there are industry standards for this, but those standards might differ depending on where you are, what country you're in. They might be a little bit different. But a lot of things with documentation are up for, they're a little subjective. Like, you can develop your own style. So I like to put mine inside the window, because usually I've got dimensions on the outside and they get really cluttered. And I just bring them in a little bit, and I will align things along a line. This one I'm scooting over a little bit because it was kind of crashing there. But when I'm pulling this down, that's going to connect to that line, except this one now is crashing into the door. So there's a little bit of move things around. I'm going to bump that up a little bit, but then I'm going to move everything, all the rest that are in this line. It has to be able to see it in the screen to snap. That'll work. And yes, we have duplicate numbers right now because it's doing types, not marks, and we're going to fix that. That one's just going to have to crash because it's a little tight right there. Oh, because those windows are a little bit closer. Ah, we have different spacing of the columns. It's totally fine. Interesting. Okay. Not to worry. So we're going to get all of, nope, it has to see it. We're going to get all these windows located. Window tags, sorry. Okay, those are all in place. Now the doors, I'm just gonna put them over here a little bit, kind of in a nice spot. And I like to remove that leader line. It just seems to get in the way to me. So for every single door, I put it in what seems like a good location. And I do wait a long time to do these because I want to get my dimensions on there first. I don't like moving things all over the place if I can help it. Once they're there, it's nice if you can leave them. The dimensions take precedence to me. So we're just putting these in, really in, see, in this dimension needs to move out of the way a little bit though. It's a little too close. These just need to go in kind of a good readable location. You know, and if you got several in a row, you can align them if you want. I usually do. Oops. Okay. I think we've got all of them. So now all of our windows and doors are tagged. We got a little bit more going on for our floor plan. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Take a drink because I can already hear my voice going out. Okay. We will clean up those dimensions in a little bit. We got to do some other stuff first. So, all right, since I'm not working with my template already has these created, but we've got to start them from new. So we're going to go to no, we're not going to go there. We're going to go, where is it? This is what happens when you have it in your template and you don't know where stuff is. Excuse me while I hunt around for a minute. What the heck? Ah, okay. It's on the view tab. Sorry. Schedules. Okay. I'm wondering if this moved or if this was already here or if I just have had it in my template so long that I had to bring them apart. Okay. Probably need more caffeine. Schedules. We're going to go here and create a schedule. And we're going to go scroll down to doors. Whoops, that's not right. Doors. And that's just door schedule. So, okay. And we get to pick what we want in it. Now, again, if you're starting out new and you are working on creating your template, you're going to want to get this set up so you don't have to do this every single time. So basically, we are going to do, let me see what I usually put in here. I should have made a list. We're going to do the mark. So we're going to click that. We're going to put it in here. We're picking all the different fields that we want to be in there. So I want to do mark. I am going to do description. Then width, and then we need height. Width always goes before height. Width, height. These are for doors, so we don't need a head height. Now you could put your rough height, like rough height, rough width and stuff like that. I don't, especially not for basic plans. The thing is, with most of my clients, they might not have necessarily picked out the exact windows. Now we've put sizing in here, but they might not have picked out the exact brand of windows that they're going to be using. We've usually talked about a few different things, but since I don't do project management, well, for most projects, they're going to take these plans and then they're going to go pick up what they want. So basically, I'm putting in windows that are standard sizes. Probably the vast majority of my clients will use the Anderson 100 series Fibrex windows, but I know a lot of them might get vinyl windows. So I'm pretty much just shooting for things that are in like a 6-inch increments. And then if, say, I have clients who use wood clad windows or something like that, that come in a little bit funkier sizes, those are the clients that usually are going for a higher level of detail. And you know, if they're using Marvin or they're using a certain Anderson line or something like that, they'll usually have that decision made and be getting some ideas on pricing, so they have an idea. But if they're getting wood clad windows, they're going to be expensive no matter what, and they usually know the specific line they're doing. I can get that exact information if I know exactly what windows they are, but different brands of windows have a little bit different sizing constraints. So basically what I'm doing here is general sizing that's going to be good for most consumer level, not high-end windows. So that's what we're doing right here. So we've got the mark, the description, the width, and the height. I do typically put the level on there. This is a one-story home, so that doesn't probably matter so much. But there's a whole lot of other information that you can put in here, and basically I'm keeping it really simple. So here, this has created our door schedule. So we can go ahead and work on the door schedule. So we're going to go to the first floor plan. If you'll notice over here, there's nothing for the description, and the width and height and the level they've auto-populated, and the mark has also auto-populated. Let's go here and look at this plan. So this just automatically assigned these numbers, okay? And I'm going to change the order of the numbers. And I have a system. I'm sure everybody has their own system. But what I like to do is I like to start at the top left corner and go all the way around clockwise on the exterior. And then I usually kind of start top left to bottom right and work my way down. So just so that there's some order to my numbers so that they're not completely random. You might have something completely different that you want to do. Going up, down, and left to right feels natural to me because I'm in the US. Something else, if you're in a different country, might feel a little bit more natural to you. Just different countries read different directions and things like that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go in here. I'm going to click on this door. Now I can click on the door and it'll pop up its information over here in the properties tab, or I can click on the actual tag. I'm just going to click on the door, and over here where it says mark, it says 2. I'm going to rename that. I'm going to click on that and do 001. I do my doors and windows just a little differently. This is just my system. Not saying this is the best way to do it. There's probably somebody else that's going, oh my gosh, it's wrong. I'm not working with developers. I'm not working with licensed architects usually. This is simple. Everything that I do is very readable and easy to understand for the builders that work on my homes. and also for my clients, because I don't like things that people can't understand. So we've just got these 2 exterior doors. So if I'm going around the edge here, 1, and then this one's going to be 2. So I'm going to click on it, and it's going to be 002. And I'll let these be longer so that they've got a long bubble, so they can be longer. No, that sounds kind of silly. And then we're just going to carry on from here. So this is kind of the most upper one here. This is going to be 3. And we'll just go grab this one. There's no perfect science to this with me. It's kind of what feels like. And actually, you know what? Let's change these. Let's let this one be 4. We can really go more left to right. And it's going to warn me that I've got duplicates, which is okay. I know that. So I'm going to change this one to 5. It's going to warn me again. And I'm going to change this one to 6. And now we can carry on from there. 7, 007, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we just have 11 doors in this project. And quite honestly, in real life, these doors right here might get turned into bifolds or something like that, or maybe some kind of gliding doors, but I prefer double doors, and this seems to work decently in this situation without being too contrived. So we've got our door tags adjusted with different numbers, just following something that's at least some kind of a system. So we can check in our door schedule and see that those have updated the marks to the new numbers. Now, why are they out of order? Because we need to sort them. So we're going to go over here to sorting, and I suggest if you're new to door schedules and window schedules, go over here and click on these and play around with them. Now the thing is, if you hit edit on this, it's basically going to give you the same thing. It's just taking you to the schedule properties. It's just shortcutting you to that particular tab. But each one of these that you click on is taking you to a different tab of the same properties box. So we've come here to sorting, and it doesn't have any sorting. We want to sort it by mark. It defaults to ascending. So I'm going to hit OK, and then that's going to reorder those just where they're going in number order. This is part of the reason why I like to number these this way. If they're just in a random order, and I have a builder who's looking at the prints and he's looking at the windows, and he's at 2 and then he wants to do 3, and it's over here, but 4 is over here and 5 is up here, he's got to jump over and hunt for things. Anybody who works with my plans regularly is going to pretty quickly figure out, oh, 1, and then it goes around the perimeter, and then we're going to move this way. They're going to figure that out, and it's going to be a little bit more efficient for them. I'm always thinking about who is looking at these, who is building off of these, and I want to make it as easy as possible for them. So that's where my door numbering system comes in. Now, we need something in the description. So what we're going to do is go back in here, and we're going to have to edit the type. So we're going to go edit type, and we'll go scroll down here, and you can find description. Now there's a whole lot of other information in here that you can put. So if you know exactly what manufacturer and what model and all of that information, if that's already determined and you know these exact window dimensions and the rough dimensions, go ahead and put that in if you want to, and if your client or your builder wants that information, it's totally fine. I'm keeping it simple because it's pretty generic. So in the description here, we've got, this is going to be a single swing, and I'm just going to put full glass entry. An exterior door is an entry door. So there we go. Now, if we go back and look at our door schedule, that will have populated those 2, you can drag these around like this, that will have populated those 2 doors because that front door and back door are the exact same type. Now, if we go back to the first floor plan and we grab this door, we're going to go over here to edit type. You can pick any one of these you want. We're going to go to description. It doesn't have anything. This is going to be single swing interior. Really straightforward. Now we go look at our door schedule, and that populated almost everything because almost all of the doors in this project are that exact door. Just keeping it simple. So we've got one more door that's missing, and that's 3. And a lot of times when I'm going through and adding in these descriptions, I'll go through there. I don't usually start off with the descriptions because I'm not sure exactly which doors I'm going to use. But usually there's some consistency for each project. So it doesn't take too awful long to go in and add those descriptions, because when you add it for one type, it's going to catch all of those. So 3 is missing. So what is 3? It's this pocket door right here. So we can click on it. We're going to edit type. We're going to go down to description, and it is a single pocket interior. And there we go. And now door schedule fully populated. We're going to leave that alone for a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Grab me a drink. And then we can go back here to the first floor plan. We're going to make another schedule. We're going to click here, schedules. And then we're going to scroll all the way down because we are going to Windows. It's just going to be a window schedule. And then we're going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to go down here because I also want to start off with mark, and then description. And it's almost the same information. Width, height, and we do need level, but we need one other thing in here. We are going to do the head height. Now you could do this as sill height. I like it as head height. And then we can go ahead and put the level. All right, and that's all we need. Again, there's all sorts of stuff in here that you can put in here. We're keeping it simple. So it's going to take us right here. It has auto-populated. Now, I'm going to go back and do something for the door schedule because we didn't do this. So we're going to go, actually, let's just click through here because we've got the field. So we already did that. So once you did that, when you created it, it's automatically going to take you to the fields because you've created it. You need to know what the heck you want to put in there. But it's going to allow, you can edit that. So if you decide that you do want to put the rough height and rough width in there, or any other thing, or if you want to add some comments, I had a client the other day, she really wanted to specify hardware codes. So we added that in. You can add fields or take them away if you need to. And then if you want to filter things by anything, you can do that. And all of this is like a if this then that type situation. So once you do this, it gives you some other options. Sorting, we've sorted it by mark, but here's where we're going to add something. Grand totals, title count, and totals. We are just going to do title and totals. And I'm just going to change this to total. And I want to make sure that I itemize every instance. This is really the important thing, and this probably is going to depend on what type of work you're doing. If you are in, doing something commercial where you don't want to list out every door because you've got tons of doors, you might not want to itemize every one. You might just want to list, this particular door type, and we have 27 of those, and do it like that. I prefer to itemize every single instance because, first of all, I'm doing residential. So I think the most I've had was like 50 something or 60 something windows in one home, and that sounds completely insane. almost every window and door had a transom over it. And so basically we had a fair amount of windows, and then it got doubled. And so it sounds worse than it actually is. And so side note, because I haven't, derailed myself here. I actually, for that particular house, earlier today, I was working on some windows, not for that house, that house is already built. And so I had windows in my mind, and I'm very particular about windows and how they're laid out and how they're trimmed out, because they're such a huge defining feature to the style of the home, and they're really easy to look ugly. But when they're done right, they're so gorgeous. And so I was working on these windows, and I had this, just window analysis in my head. And then I stopped working on that project, and I got on Facebook for a little bit, and I was scrolling through my feed, and I was just like, those are some beautiful transoms right there. Really nice windows. And then I very quickly saw the name and realized that it was one of my projects, one of my homes. And I was like, of course those windows look great, because I designed them and I'm very picky about them. And they look gorgeous. So make sure your windows are excellent. Makes a huge difference. So we're going to do total, but I'm going to itemize every one, and I do this for my doors and my windows. The windows especially. The doors, it wouldn't be quite such a big deal, and then you could sort them by type instead of mark. But for windows especially, they might have different head heights if you're using maybe different sections of the home, or when you get into different top plate heights, you're adjusting. If you're doing anything that's not super basic, your head heights might vary. And so I like to list out every single instance individually, and this is its head height, so that I know it's getting located exactly where I want it, because it might not sound like a big deal, but a lot of times it is. We get too low, we might get into some flashing. We get too high, we might not have room for headers. And so a lot of times we're moving things around visually, and trim comes into play. And so we want them in just the right spot. So my preference is, for doing residential work, itemize every single one. And I had my reasons for that. So now it's going to say total. And then what we want to do, I want to look at the formatting here, because we can change how these are all done, but basically I'm going to look at appearance. Let's see, if we do the title text, we can change it. And I think we could add in some more here, but we'll just go, we'll just make these Arial. And yeah, we'll just leave that like that. And yeah, it'll show there. That just made it a little bit bigger. So you could load different things in there too. Now we're going to go look at the window schedule, because this has the marks, but if you'll notice something, this is like 1, 3, 4, 6, 9, and it's sorted that way. But if we go to the first floor plan, like, what the heck? This is 19 and 18 and 18. Well, that's because this is tagging them based upon their type, not their mark. So we're going to go here to the window tag, and we need to make sure I'm not doing something stupid. Okay, I'm going to go in here, and I want that mark. See, that mark is 15, but it's not showing the mark in there. And so we need to I don't think we can edit that from there. I think we have to actually go edit the family. And again, I have a template for this. So basically this tag label here, so we've edited the family, and it's the label right here. This is attached to the type mark parameter. So we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to change it to mark. So when we load this into the project and we overwrite this, it changes that window tag. Now it goes to the mark, not the type mark. So I'm going to do the same thing for all these windows now. And I don't know why the door tag defaults to the mark and the window defaults to the type mark, when it makes more sense to me that you would need to list every window individually than every door, because doors obviously go at their floor level, whereas windows have the whole head height issue. But I don't know. I just know that it needs to be changed. So you go in there and change it. And then once you set it in your template, then you don't have to think about it quite so much. You get it all set up the way you want it, and it's all good. So we click on that window because we want this to be 1, but it's just going to be 0, 1. And I'm follow the same system. I'm going to start at the top left. And usually we don't have windows on interior walls. It's just going to be the exterior. Every once in a while you might have one. Now it sounds kind of crazy, but sometimes you have a transom or something. So we're going to do 1. Then this one's going to be 02, 03. Y'all, this is a very, very, very sparse number of windows for me because I love windows and I love to put a lot of windows in there. It's really funny because clients will say, oh, I want a lot of windows, or oh, I want a lot of outlets or something like that. And was thinking about this the other day working on a project where a client did not want a lot of receptacles, outlets. And it got me to thinking about that point of reference and what is your point of reference? What are your standards? Because usually the people who say, oh, I want a lot of outlets, it's because they've lived in a home that either just didn't have very many, or maybe it was an older home and it wasn't normal to have, nothing was to code where you have to have, outlets, every wall that's at least 2 feet, you have to have an outlet, and, you have to have one at least every 12 feet, all that stuff. They might have been really short on them, and so like, I don't have a lot of outlets. I usually put in quite a few, but the same thing with windows. People go, oh, and a lot of windows. Well, what does a lot of windows mean to you? Because what a lot of windows means to me, I put 70 windows in there. So it's if you're working with a designer and you say you want a lot of something, well, a lot is very subjective, or you don't want very many. Very, very subjective. So make sure that you are clarifying a little bit. And pictures for reference, for inspiration, are always welcome. So we only have 9 windows in this place. So we've gone around the perimeter and we've named those. Well, we've marked them. Now they're all out of order. So we've got to sort. We're going to go over here, sort by mark, and we'll go ahead and do the grand totals. We're just going to do title and totals, total, and we've got itemize checked, and there we go. Now we still have no description, so we're going to go around here and do the same thing. So these are just all double hung, or they could be single hung, but I'm going to call them double hung. And I'm going to click on that one right here, and this, actually I'm going to do double hung. And then we'll check our schedule because that caught 2 windows, because those 2 kitchen windows are the same size. So then if we go here and grab one of these other, it's not, oh, we don't have 2 kitchen windows, we took one out. It's the kitchen window and the laundry room. So we'll grab one of those. We're going to edit type and go down here to the description. And this is also, oops, I keep wanting to make that. And see, double hung is already populating there. We'll grab it and then look at the window schedule, and ta-da! There they are. Okay. And it's already populating with all these other parameters. So that will be all ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and hit save so we don't lose that. And let's see. Let's go ahead. We've got a few more views that we need to do. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to create them, and then yeah, we'll go ahead and get them all done. We're moving right along here today. Nobody's asking questions, so we're just rocking and rolling. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do a roof plan, and I've already got this roof open, but there's nothing there. So if you click on roof over here, it's not showing anything except for our building elevation markers. So why isn't it showing anything? It's because of the view range. So we're going to go over here into properties browser, and we've got right here under extents, it says view range. If we click edit, now I strongly recommend that you go up here to the help, or the help question mark, and go. They have like a little, I think a video, or at least definitely some pictures in there that explain the view range and where everything cuts. That's going to be way more effective than me trying to explain it to you. But basically everything here is up in the roof level, and we need to see lower than that. So basically I'm going to change view depth to the first floor plan, and I hit apply, and right there I didn't have to do anything else. I'm going to change this to 1, and we'll see what happens. That's totally fine. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that. I'm going to hide these. We're just going to hide the category. Then I can zoom in, and this is 1/8 inch equals a foot, and that's totally fine for me. So we've created a roof plan, and since it's super fast and easy, we're going to go ahead and annotate this. So go to the annotate tab and go to spot slope. I'm just going to click that. It only gives you one option. And so we are going to just click basically on every single roof section. We're going to click on the big ones, and then we'll come in here and we're going to adjust this. So we've clicked on every single roof section. Now notice this does not match, this font doesn't match the font for my dimensions. It doesn't fit my standards. So I'm going to click on one of these, and I'm going to go fix that. So right here, we're going to go down in here. First of all, it's black and I want it to be blue. So I'm going to pick this like navy blue right here, which is I think what we've got for the other one. And then down here, it's Arial. I'm going to use Architect's Daughter. You can keep the Arial or use whatever you want. And that's going to change that. So makes it look a little bit more handwritten. So you can play around with these. I just like them to look a little bit nice. This is not just super standardized. I make them fairly small for smaller sections of roof. Just whatever fits. So like these are going to be pretty small. And if you need to drag them off, you can. That doesn't seem to work. It doesn't have a leader. I don't like that. We'll just leave that right like that. But we need to get one on every single section. And it needs to kind of fit on there. So basically, you get the point on that. It needs to be pretty small. And again, different offices are going to have different standards. If you're, running your own show, you can make that whatever you want. Now, I believe when we did this roof, we talked a little bit about the areas. And so what I'm going to do is I've got just a scratch piece of paper here, my to-do list from the day. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and note this. Now, I'm going to show from a different view just in case anybody's not watched that, or if you've forgotten because it's been a hot minute. Since I cut these roofs out from this I used the dormer opening tool to cut that out. So if I highlight that, you can see where those edges are. It has cut out where these roofs attach so that my area is more accurate. It might not be perfect, but it's going to be pretty good. So I've clicked on this roof section, and so I'm just going to jot down some notes here. Main roof, and I have tried to make a schedule for this before. I think I tried this a couple years ago because I thought, well, this would be way better if I could make a schedule, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. Something just was not working right, and it might be that you just can't do schedules for that, or maybe you can now and you couldn't then, or maybe I just couldn't figure it out. I don't know. but I just jot this down on a piece of paper. So I've just written main roof, and what I want is the area. So this is 1,402.63 square feet. And then this is our front porch roof. And so I'm just writing down front porch roof, and it is 501.41 square feet. And then the same thing for our back porch roof, which is exactly the same as the front. So back porch roof, 501.41 square foot. Now, what am I going to do with that? I'm going to set it aside and use it again here in a minute. So that's our roof plan. We're going to add a little bit more information to it in a bit, but it's all set up. We are just racing through this stuff right now. Kind of a thing in architecture where everybody likes to procrastinate. You got a heck of a lot of work done right at the end when you want to get something out the door. I'd hate for us to hang around today and lollygag and yip yap and whatnot, and then have like 30 minutes next week. If we can finish this today, we'll finish this today. So the next couple of things that we need to do are an area plan and a room plan. So I keep going over here, and now if you want your schedules, they're under this tab right here. I keep going over here and thinking that everything's already done and forgetting that we're going from scratch because we don't have that. So on your architecture tab, I feel like I can't talk today, y'all. So under the room and area section, we've got area, and you're going to click that drop down arrow and click on area plan. Now you've got two different types here, gross building and rentable. Now I use the gross building for actual gross building. I use rentable for room plans. Honestly, I do not know if there's a difference. This do not duplicate existing views, I actually don't know if that tab was always there. I think maybe that was not an option, and it defaults to not letting you duplicate things. Notice it's checked, and I think maybe that was not always a thing, and you just couldn't duplicate things. Now you can. So if you want to make additional views, you can just uncheck that and make more. But that's kind of why I started doing that. So basically, for doing an actual area plan, I'm going to pick gross building, and I'm going to pick first floor plan, and then I'm going to hit OK. Now, you can do this if you want, but I feel like it's going to be wrong. I hate to just say it's wrong. It's probably going to be wrong. I'm going to go no, and then I'm going to show you why. So we've got, it's 1/8 inch equals a foot scale. That's fine. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to hide the floor because I don't need to see that. And then I don't need to see these labels. And I'm kind of wondering, the families that I usually use don't have that. And I kind of wonder, it's going to have like a show label. Yeah, we don't need to see the label. I kind of wish, I kind of like that it's got that because I don't think I had that before. Or maybe I've been using my own families for so long. But basically, I'm going to just hide all of those. Pretty much anybody who's building this, they know what those things are. So we've hidden those. I do want to change this to medium. And then, let's see. Okay. I have a way that I do this. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying, well, I'm not going to say it's wrong because I know it's not wrong. Maybe someone else thinks it's wrong, but this is the way that I do it. And you'll see why. So I do area boundary. If I were to associate with the walls, it would put them right in the middle. And I don't know that there's an option to put it different places. I should play around with that. But what I do is I don't pick lines. I come in here and I want to make sure that they go exactly where I want them to go. And I want them to go at the exterior of the framing because that is where we measure area. And I explained this if you were here for episode 1. I'm sure I explained this when I was doing the dimensions. The reason why we dimension to the exterior of the framing is because that's what I call the lock line. It's not going to move. If you change the thicknesses of your framing, you switch between like 2x4s or 2x6, or if you change from 1/2 inch sheetrock to 5/8 inch and vice versa, if you switch from siding to brick or whatever, those things are going to flex to the inside or to the outside, but this dimension is not going to change. And this is where our area is measured, and so our area is not going to change. And this is just like that lock line that things flex to the inside or the outside of it, but that does not change. So if I try to grab it at the corner, this time it'll let me, but some places it won't. So I'm going to come in from the outside of the wall a little bit and just grab, and I can tell that that blue is highlighted in blue. I can tell that I'm locked to that, I'm aligning with that exterior of the court. And then I'm going to come off to the side over here. And then I'm going to hit escape, and I'm going to do the same thing all the way around. Now, this is super easy. We only have 4 walls here, but I'm just doing that for all these exterior walls. I'm coming off to the edge. Now, because I like to actually lock there in case I change something, I'm going to align, keyboard shortcut AL, and notice that's wanting to grab it was wanting to grab the center, now it wants to grab that. That's because this is preferring wall faces, and I want it to be faces of core. So that when I come in here, it wants to grab that. Now I could have gotten there by tabbing, but I wanted to prefer it. And this is why I come in a little bit. This leaves me some room to make sure, and if you want to wait for this little tag to pop up to make sure you're grabbing the right thing. So I'm aligning from the wall, I'm aligning this boundary line to the wall. So I want to start with the wall. I'm going to click that and then make sure I'm grabbing the boundary. You don't want to align the boundary to the wall. It needs to go in the right direction. Oh, and then I need to lock that. So I'm going to go around and do that for every wall. And I will say, maybe there's a way to automate this, and I could probably write a script for this in Dynamo. I don't use Dynamo yet because basically I have too much on my plate to learn something else right at this moment. But this is kind of one of those situations like, well, why do you cut the end off of your ham? Well, my mother did that. Well, you ask your mother, why does she cut the end off the ham? Well, because my mother did that. Call her mother and ask, why did she cut the end off the ham? Well, that's the only way I could get it to fit in my oven. Okay. If there's a way to automate this and I'm still doing this way, it's because I couldn't get it to do that probably 5 or 10 years ago. And so I developed this other method, and that's how I do it. And the thing is, when you're measuring area, because I measure the area once per project for the most part. So this isn't something that I'm doing every day. It's not something that I just need to be super efficient. So anyway, I have locked those boundary lines to those walls, and now we're going to go trim them. So TR, keyboard shortcut for trim. Hold on, my meeting went all crazy for a minute. Now I'm going to make sure I'm grabbing the right thing. Got my boundary line. There we go. So now we have an enclosed region, and then we can do, and here, now we have an area plan. It gives us an option for an area. So click area, and we're just going to drop it right in here. It can go anywhere in there. I'm doing it there because it's clear. And there we go. Now, do I like that font? Of course I don't, but I'm going to leave it alone. So I'm going to call this first floor gross construction area. I'm just going to move it over here. And so we can see this is outlined in this purple line. And when you actually print this out, actually, if we do, I keep thin lines turned on, but if we turn it off, we can see how that is a super, super thick line. And so when you print that out on actual blueprints on paper, it reads really thick. So you can actually see, hey, this is where I'm measuring this area, kind of screaming in your face. Now, I don't think I've talked about thin lines before. Up here in this corner, thin lines, it defaults to turned on, and I leave it on all the time, almost all the time, because I want everything, it displays everything as the same thickness. Now, if I turn it off, see how thick that is? And basically when I do this is when I'm checking line weights. This is pretty close to what it's going to look like printed on the page, but see this right here? This pocket door is so thick, it just makes that all a hot mess. And I have my line weights pretty well set in my template. So that's going to be something we're going to have to look at. But right now, we're going to turn that off. If we don't finish today, we've taken an hour so far. If we don't finish today and we finish it next week, we'll definitely look at that. So we've got this area. And now, since this is to the exterior of the framing, I mean, this is kind of something to understand if you don't already know this. I explain this to clients all the time, because sometimes people will measure like the interior areas of like rooms, and they'll want to like add them up, and they'll go, well, this doesn't match this. It's because this is measured to the exterior of the framing, and it's including all these walls and inside, and it's also including this framing. So you have some framing chewed up in this number, and that's okay. That's industry standard. That's the way it's done. Oh, now we need to hide these because we don't need these here. And we can ZA, zoom all, and there we go. Now we got to make one more. I think that might be all the views that we need to make. We're going to go up here. We're going to do area. We're going to do an area plan again. Yes, we need to save. And now we're going to do rentable and first floor plan and hit OK. Now, I don't want it to do that. And here's this plan. And I think, yep, let's go ahead and hide these. Hide category. Zoom back in. This scale is fine, but we're going to hide this floor again. And again, you could just change the settings, but it has the same effect as just hiding it. So I'm just hiding it. We do want it to be medium. And now this time I'm using this as my room plan, and actually we can go over here. This says first floor plan. So that's for our area plan, and we're going to change that. So I'm going to rename that to first floor area plan. No, because I don't want it to change like the first floor plan and stuff. Now, for this one, for rentable, it says this again. I'm going to rename this. This is going to be my first floor room plan. And no, I do not want to name corresponding views. So we're going to put rooms in here. So just room tool up here. And notice how I can do this bedroom, the closet. I'm not going to label the closets. I'll do the bathroom. I'll do this here. We'll do this hall and this. But when I come out here, this is all one big room. But what if I want to section that into different spaces? Well, we can go up here and use a room separator line. And I'm going to go ahead and just grab the edge of this because we'll consider that like the edge of the kitchen. And then if we wanted to, we could really get into this as far as like chopping this up, like making this a pathway. We could call that a pathway, and we could make this the dining room, and you can break that down as much as you want. I'm actually not going to do that for this one. I'm just going to let this be the main living area because I kind of designed this with a lot of flexibility. People could use it however they want. Somebody might set a little office up over here or something like that. I don't know. I don't care. I'm just going to let it be main living area. Now, these are showing room. Yeah, okay. And again, I have a different one that's in my template. So this is going to be a room tag, but I want it to be with the area. But I'm going to have to go in here because now it's still, I don't know why it does this. I don't want the room number. It's way the heck up here. We're going to edit the family because I don't like it being all separated. So I want to do, I don't ever use the volume. I do want to do this. And so basically I'm just going to move this up here. And actually I want it closer. Yeah, so I'm going to load it in the project. I'm not going to save it, but I am going to overwrite that. And that just brings that up. Now, the rest of these, let's see if we can match those. MA, yes, we can. So we can just click on all of those because they're the wrong type. So this is an annotation, but it's a family and it has types. So it has these different types. We want the one with the area, and then we just changed it. Now, I didn't save that family because like I said, I have my own. So if you want to adjust it to make it right for you, and then we've still got this window tag that's open. Oh, no. I don't want to save that one. Nope. There we go. So this just shows me the general areas for these, and I'm going to go in here and name them. So I'm just going to call this main living area. Just going, okay, you got 57 square feet there. Okay, we're going to call this bedroom 1. I'm not calling it a master because it's not an ensuite. And it's not, these rooms are basically, they're the same size. So, and bathroom, hall, we'll just call it a closet. This is laundry. Now, this is in a nice place because I moved it. You can move these around just wherever seems to look the best to you, wherever you want them. It's your house. You can put stuff where you want. It's not too bad. Now, there's one thing that I want to do here, and right here, I'm going to right click on this bed, and I'm going to go override graphics and view, and I'm going to go by category, and I'm going to do halftone, because while I want to show the basic furniture, the beds especially in this, I don't need them screaming on there. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this plan. I'm going to just do by category because that's easier. So if I had a dining table in there or anything like that, which I don't, and I don't think I'm going to put one in. And then same thing on the first floor plan, actually. I don't like those to be super loud. Now, if you're doing like a furniture plan or something, then you might want that to be showcased. This is totally a matter of preference. I usually have so much information on there that I want that to kind of fade in the background and show, hey, a bed fits in here, and here's the traffic flow pattern. So it's looking pretty good. Right now, before we do any cleanup, I do want to delete these. We don't need these on here. Well, I just put those on there to locate those windows, and they don't have to stay there. So let's see. We're going to lay out our construction documents a little bit. We might finish up next week, but we've got a lot of views going on here. So I'm going to close some of these because we don't need all of these. But let me check my list. All right. We're doing great. So let's click down here on first floor plan. This is first floor plan sheet. We fixed these sheets last week. So we got to add some views to the sheet. So how do we do that? Well, you right click on the name and go up here to add view. Click on that, and that's going to give you a list. And it'll have every single view in the project on there. So like for me, when my projects start getting really involved, the plan views are going to be like way down at the bottom. So we're going to go down here, and they're grouped by category. So we're going to click on first floor plan. You can double click on it, or you can hit add view to sheet. And I'm going to put this over here. Now, remember how I said I had my method for numbering my windows and doors, just so it like makes sense when you're reading it? I also have what seems to be a strange way for laying out my construction documents, but if you understand why, I don't know, maybe you'll think it's brilliant. So I tend to lay my construction documents out in the opposite manner. I go from the bottom right towards the top. Why? I try not to keep important stuff over on the left, not the primary stuff. And you'd think that, oh, you're going to put like your floor plan views over here and then work your way left with the less important views. I don't, because that's the bound edge. The left side is where they're going to get bound. And just like if you open a book or a magazine that has like a picture printed across the binding, you can't see it as well. That's where everything gets all jumbly over there. And so I like to keep my plan views, especially, and all my more important stuff. I will lay it out from prioritizing from right to left. And part of that is also, so when you're flipping through plans, these, the sheets are big and they're kind of cumbersome to deal with. And it's one thing if you're laying them out on a flat surface and you can take the whole thing and flip the whole page and see everything nice and flat. But if you're just kind of balancing it on something, or you got it flipped over a ladder or sawhorse or something like that, and you're flipping through, if you're just looking a little bit like this, that's what you want to be easily handy. That's why and also they're big, and you're standing at the bottom of them and you're looking this way. So that's why my first floor plan is usually going to be in the bottom right hand corner. Sounds kind of dumb until you know there's actually a reason why. So this is going right here. And this house is actually quite small. Unless you're in a country where it's quite big, but for around here, for projects I usually do, it's quite small. So we can actually probably fit quite a few things on here, but I'm going to leave that right now. And I'm going to add a few more views. I want my area plans to be on here. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to grab this one, and I'll go ahead and stick it up here. And then I'm going to grab my room plan, which is right here. And I'm going to put it here. And notice I can align this in different ways. I like, if I'm doing these, they're the same scale. I want them to align right there, which is right through the center of the house, so the actual house is lined up. So we're just kind of slapping views on here right now. We're going to go ahead and add some more. We will put our door schedule and window schedule on here. We'll just stick those right on there. Let's see. And with this house being pretty small, we can probably fit quite a few things on. We probably don't even need 4 sheets since we're doing super basic. We might get away with 2. Now, you can only put one view, or you can only put each view on one sheet. So like I can't stick this floor plan view on multiple sheets, but I can with a schedule. So if I had, say, a first floor plan and a second floor plan, and if I have room, I could put the door schedule and the window schedule on both of those sheets. I typically don't, because I don't have 50 sheets for people to deal with. They can flip one sheet and it's usually fine. So those are a little bit messy, so let's go ahead and clean them up. I do typically like to standardize these, but right now I'm just going to do this. And I'll show you in a little bit what I actually mean by standardizing. but I don't like for these to be this spread out. See how this is nice and neat and condensed? It does this when anything's wrapping to 2 lines, and so if I drag things out like this, but first floor plan needs to be drug out like that too. So these are, yeah, those can kind of just rest there for a moment. Now things, I don't always just know exactly where things are going. I often have a general idea, and again, it's going in priority of informational views, and then I usually leave some space for some imagery. So I usually would do front and rear elevations on separate pages. I'm gonna go ahead and hit save, but I'm gonna see what happens because they might actually fit on one. Go to our elevations, our first elevations page. We're going to do add view. And we're going to go down here and grab our front elevation. Oh, and now see, why is it so awful looking? Well, because we didn't clean it up first. So I'm going to actually, we can clean it up there, but it's easier to do it somewhere else. So let's go ahead. We're going to have to do this for every single exterior elevation. Whoops. So we're going to do that. We're going to go here to the front elevation. And these are way the heck out here, and we don't want that. So we're going to click on them. And I might have pointed this out before, but I'm not sure. When we click on this, this says 3D. So if I grab that and drag it in, it's going to affect where that line is going on other views. And so if I do that on, say, this is the front right now. This is the rear. This is what it looks like. These are way over here. If I go on the front and I click on this and I grab that and drag it in really close to the house, well, let's look at the rear elevation. It moved those over there too, and they're crashing. Well, oh no, they're too close. Let's move them out. But then we go to the front elevation. Oh no, it moved that out. So basically, what we need to do is disassociate them from each other. So we click on that 3D, it changes to 2D. So we can toggle back and forth between 3D and 2D. And so we do that for all of those. Now they're aligned to each other. So basically we can drag that in really close and look at the rear, and it didn't mess with that one because it's just doing 2D. Now, I like to standardize things. I like to standardize everything that I can. And by standardize, I mean, instead of just dragging this off here, I'm going to draw a dimension line. I'm going to hit the edge of the roof, and I'm going to go over 2 feet. You could set your own standard, but basically I'm going to drag these over here so that they are 2 feet. And you'll see why I do this in a little bit. Now this, I'm just going to drag it over. But notice this right here is, it's wrapping, and basically I don't want it to do that. So, see, it won't let me change that from here. Let's go see. I'm honestly not sure how to change that from here. You can change the name. And again, in my template, I have this, but and you can play around with that. You can put a bubble head at both ends, but basically what I'm wanting to do is I don't like this wrapping to 2 lines. And you could fix that. I kind of wonder, I already have mine, so that's not an issue for me. What I'm thinking is, Level head circle. Yeah. Let's see. I'm wanting to see if we can get to a position. Oh, that just opened help. That didn't help. Okay, let's see if we can open it. Honestly, don't know if we can. Okay, so you know what? We're just gonna roll with it. I prefer for this to be on one line. And you know, you could change that if you can't figure out a workaround. You could change it by naming that, you know, first floor ceiling like that. But I don't want to. Just don't want to. I like it like it is. I don't like that font, but I'm gonna leave it like it is. So I put that at 2 feet over there. These, see, I have to change all of these from 3D to 2D. And I want to just drag these in where they're fairly close, but not too close that they're pinching. Now, why do we see our topo just way the heck out here? Well, first of all, we need to turn on medium so you can see a little more detail. This box right here, this says show crop region. If we click that, that shows that our crop region is way out there. So we can click on that and we can drag it in a little bit. And then if we zoom in, I'm just going to pinch this all down a little bit. And these I'm going to bring in really close to the house. And you can put that wherever you want. I'm actually going to bring those out just a little bit. So those can be kind of the same. Actually go like that. Then we can hide that again. Now everything's just super neat. I don't really love those arrows on the windows, but okay. So we've cleaned that one up. So now we have to do that for every single view. So again, if you have a template and you go into all of your elevation views and you change those, then they won't be doing that. You'll open your project and they'll be how you want them. Now, I'm sure there's some reason why you might want to do that. Oh, and you know what? I just noticed something. This is already 1/4 inch equals a foot, and I guess I changed it for something earlier. This is on 1/8 inch. We want our exterior elevations to be 1/4 inch. So we can go over here and we're going to standardize this 2 feet. And then bring this in kind of a comfortable distance over here. We're going to show crop region, bring those in. And bring that in kind of halfway in between there. Over here. To medium. Somebody who knows Dynamo really well happens to watch this. You probably will not watch this because you already know what you're doing. If I can write a script for that, I need to learn how to do that. So here we go with this. We're halfway done with changing all of those. Change that to 1/4, change that to medium. Drag these in a little bit closer. Dimension line 2 feet. There's anyone out there who is actually stuck with this for this whole series, I am very proud of you because this kind of feels like it's taking forever, but also we've done a lot in a short period of time. I mean, some people have asked, why am I doing this way with these long lives instead of short videos? Because I'm creating, I know not everybody learns the same way, but I'm creating pretty much what I wish I had had when I started learning. This would have helped me out a lot to just have a start to finish tutorial for what I was doing. And so, sometimes you don't have what you need. Sometimes you figure it out and you just create it. So we've done 3 out of 4 elevations. We're almost there. Really starting to think about dinner. If there was anybody watching live right now, I would ask you what I should eat for dinner. I have clients coming over tomorrow, so my family has been cleaning house a little bit today, and my husband determined that he cleaned the kitchen really nicely and that nobody's allowed to cook in it tonight, that we have to pick something up. So when I'm done with this, I guess I'm running to go get dinner, and I don't know what we're going to eat. I would say Chinese food because that's typically my preference, but I did have that a few nights ago. I had that 2 nights ago. It was really good. It was my first time to eat in a Chinese buffet since COVID. And so that had been a really, really, really long time. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was delicious. And I ate way too much. Do not regret it one bit. Especially since the numbers are getting really bad in our state. And so I hope we don't reach a point where it gets shut back down again. Okay. There we go. We're gonna hide that. Ta-da! Now we can go back down here to our elevation sheet, and we're gonna add these views, and we'll see how they look different. I'm gonna go front elevation here and see how nice and neat and tidy and small that is. So we can add more. You can't add a bunch at once. I feel like in one version of Revit you used to be able to, but if I try, it will not let me. So one at a time. And oh, that's why. Okay, we're gonna put that over here. And you know what? These are totally gonna fit on the same sheet because there's just, yay! We're gonna delete some sheets here in a minute. Okay. So we put the front elevation on top, the rear elevation below it. Now again, usually these do not fit. Usually I have my front elevation and my rear elevation on one sheet, my left side and right side elevations on another sheet, and then that's it. That sometimes that's all that fits on there depending on how big the house is, because it's really important to keep the scale of 1/4 inch equals 1 foot on floor plans and exterior elevations. Those are your really important, crucial views. And I've asked builders, like, okay, well, I can make this fit such and such a way if I can change the scale. And nope. And sometimes it means that I have to split up. Like, I have a project right now that there's a garage it's basically a detached garage, and it's connected with a breezeway, and it doesn't really read as detached when you look at the whole house, but it is. But the garage isn't just ginormous. It's big, but it's not ginormous. And the house is not exceptionally large. It's just that all of that together with the breezeway in between is too big to fit on my sheet. So basically I have it shown at an 1/8 inch scale down at the bottom all together so that we can see what it looks like. And then I have it kept at a 1/4 scale, have it just broken up so that it can fit on there, because builders really, really, they're comfortable with working 1/4 inch scale. And so it's important to keep that. So usually they don't fit like this, but these, when I'm doing a small house like this, I'm like, yay, it fits. So we've got all those on there, and I want to align that way, but I also want to align it. Will it do that one? Okay. Now, remember when I said I standardized everything? This is why. So I'm going to grab one of these lines. It will snap to this, and I'm going to drag it all the way down here, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. Then I'm going to just pick this one. It will snap right here. What I'm grabbing is the inside of that bubble head. Now notice it doesn't line up with those. But if I get this one over here, I'm just creating alignments for things that should be aligning. So this is not lined up, so we're going to line that up right there. So these, if I want to see if the peak of that house, it won't snap to it, but if I grab that and I come down here, that's going to align. So these are lined up over here, and now these actually are lined up right there. So this one right here, those already snapped to a line, and these aren't quite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on this view, which will activate it. So I can edit it over here now, just like the same thing as if I click on this rear elevation. I can do all the same things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to drag it out right there. It's not going to snap, but it's okay. We're just eyeballing it. We've zoomed in to get it really close. And now I'm going to right click on it to deactivate that view. So now all of these edges and these edges line up for each of these sets. So what I'm going to do, and I could change this around and reorder it a little bit, but I like it this way, so I'm going to leave it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tidy these views up a little bit. I like to have that line there, and I just like to put this over here, and then I'm also going to scoot it up here, basically smushing it up against that line, just for now. It's going to be too tight, but it's just for now. So I'm going to put this one over here to where it aligns with that edge, and then I'm going to carefully move it up. I don't want to move it left or right, but it'll stay where I wanted it, and I'm going to let it snap to align with that one on the other side. So I'm going to do the same thing for this, except I can snap it now to that one. See, we're getting some great alignments, and even if you don't know that things are exactly aligned, it's just very visually clean. So this one right here will be easy because we can go over and it'll snap to that one, and we can go up and it'll snap to that one. You kind of have to make sure I've got dotted lines going up and to the side. Now, one more thing to clean up. I'm going to click on this view. I'm not double clicking on it. I'm just clicking on it, which highlights this title. And I can drag this line over, and I'm just aligning it with that. That's just where I like it to go. So I'm going to do the same thing for all these views. I'm just going to click on them, not double click, just a single click. We're not activating them. So that is nice and neat. So now I can click and delete these lines. And these, I think I'm going to move those up. Maybe not that much. And then if I want to move anything around, I'll grab these two, and I'm just using the arrow keys to scoot them around a little bit. And that's pretty good. Now there's one other thing I'm going to do. I'm going to ZA to make sure that I'm zoomed out all the way. And then I'm going to click on just the viewport titles. And then I'm just going to down arrow twice. Actually, I'm going to go 3 times. That was showing something funny. Now, I'm going to rename them. So I'm going to, because I could leave it like that. There's nothing wrong with it. But a few years ago, I saw someone's plans, and I looked at their they're just the way that they had some things annotated, and I was like, oh my gosh, that looks so nice. And I asked them how they did that, and I didn't know that you could do that. And so I kind of got I picked up a few tricks by asking this architect how they did that. And then I kind of drew some inspiration from what they did and kind of developed my own thing. And so these aren't in my font, but it'll still have the same, same effect. And you want to develop your own font. So I'm going to click on it. Do not double click to activate. I'm just clicking it. So this is giving me the properties for this viewport. And what I'm going to do is scroll down, and where it says title on sheet, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to make sure it's on caps lock. This is my left side elevation, but I'm going to type it over here in all caps, left side elevation. And then I'm going to hit my arrow key and let it go all the way to the left. Now you can't really see it. And for this to work, you have to leave your cursor over that window. If you move it off somewhere, this won't work. You have to leave it on here. So I'm going to, this is really difficult to describe it without telling you, but what I'm doing is I'm hitting my right arrow, spacebar, right arrow, spacebar, and I'm just going back and forth between the two of them. And what that's doing is it's putting one space between each letter and like 3 spaces between each word. And then I have to click, I hit enter, and then I hit apply. And what that did was I made that all caps, and I just spaced it out a little bit. And this already looks a lot better like this. I usually have it in a different font that goes with my branding, but this is totally going to work, and you can pick your own font. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do the same thing for all of these views. Front elevation, or scrolling to the beginning, and sometimes it lets me see. I think I did something weird there. The percussionist in me comes out when I do this. I'm not actually a percussionist. I was in college band. I was a music education major. A very, 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 very long time ago. But I didn't play percussion. But I was pretty good at rhythm. I like patterns. So I like music theory. And rhythm. Because it's patterns. Go figure. Okay. So we've done that for all of those. Now we could change these view numbers. Actually, I'm going to do that. So this one's 1 for the front elevation. But I want the rear because I want front elevation and rear. They go together. And again, you can develop your own hierarchy. Now, if I try to change this to 2, it won't let me. It will not let you use duplicate values for numbering your views. So in that case, if I'm needing to renumber things, I'll just make that 0, 2. And then this one, I need to be 3, which will let me do 3 because I just got rid of 3, and that one's 4. Then I can just change this one to 2. Depending on how many views you have on there, you can do that. I'm going to hit save. You grab a drink. I have to do something very quickly. And we will carry on because we are not all that far from finished. Done. Okay. So we've been going for quite a long time, but y'all, we are killing it. Okay, we fit all of our elevations onto this elevation sheet, so we don't need this one. We're going to right click and we're going to delete it. And I rarely have any plans that are this short. When we come back later and make this more detailed, we're going to add some sheets back in because this is going to be fine for now. So we're going to rename this sheet. I'm going to slow click on it, and we're just going to call this one caps lock. Need caps lock on. We're just going to do exterior elevations. That'll work. I don't think exterior will fit there. So now So we've got all the reviews on here. We need to clean up these views. So I'm going to do this. We have 3 views here. I'm just going to clean those up. So what I like to do is do a detail line down from that corner, and then from this corner, whatever are the furthest ones. And this is the same thing we were doing earlier. Oh, and I saw something that we missed, and I'm going to bump it up here. I'm going to smoosh it up here, right next to that porch, but I do see something that we missed, and I'm going to do that one. I'm just going to do each one of these individually. So that one's pretty clean. We're going to do the same thing over here. It won't snap to it. You know, when you work with Revit for a while, over time you figure out what things it likes to snap to and what things it does not. And you can control snaps in settings, but I usually just know what snaps and what doesn't. And I literally never mess with snap settings. I think I might have, the last time I messed around with snap settings might have actually been in AutoCAD in school or something like that. I literally never mess with them. Okay, almost there. Now on this one, I will grab kind of like the outside of my dimensions, whatever's the furthest thing out. And I wanted to clean these dimensions up a little bit. So still undetermined whether we're going to do that tonight or not. I am kind of tired, but we're so close to finish. I really do want to finish this up tonight. But we're getting all this stuff laid out, which is awesome. Okay. Oh, did I smoosh that up there? I did. So I'm going to grab each of these. And I don't remember if I did 2 on the other one or 3. I think I just did 2. No, I did 3. We'll get there. Okay, and then we've got to change their name. So that is the correct name. We're just going to make sure it's on caps lock and do the same thing we did on the other sheet. First floor room plan. Go back to the beginning and space. Sometimes it doesn't take if you don't actually do enter and then apply. I don't know why. Sometimes it's just got a mind of its own. First floor area plan. Chicken strip sounds good. I don't know why. I don't eat chicken strips very much. I think I got an extra one in there because I was talking about chicken strips. Sure where to go to get that. Never mind, I have other people here that might have an opinion, but this is just first floor plan. There we go. Now those are neatened up a little bit. These, we could put those up there. And you know what? I'm thinking here. I think what we're gonna do is just bring these down here, and they'll align with each other. Actually, do we have the same number? Oh, something has a weird number. You gotta figure that out. Let's see what has a weird number. 1. Oh, I skipped a window. Oh no. So you know what? We're gonna work backwards. I gotta fix these. 08. That way it won't give me that warning. Oh no, it still did that. Oh, because I didn't go all the way backwards. Oh my goodness. I guess I'm tired, y'all. All right, so here we go. Let's try this again. That's 10. This is 9. I feel like I'm doing a countdown here. This is 8. And 7. And that's why you reference stuff, because I missed that. There are a lot of things that I catch when I do a final review, and you know, I typically give clients a set of rough prints, like an actual hard copy set of rough prints, unless we're completely remote and don't live next to each other. Okay, so this one needs to be O2. I will usually give them a set of prints, especially if they're a complicated set of plans. So we can go back here and we can look at this. And now, and this is dumb, but I count down through these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, I was like, why? You know, either, you know what, I'm going to undo that because that was actually fine. So, scooch that over there. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, I just noticed something. So we made this. This is just a wimpy title up here, but see, these do not match. And actually, I like that, but I don't like that. So let's go in here, and you know what? We can't do it from there. We have to do it from here. So we're going to go to the door schedule, and we'll do formatting. Nope, it's appearance. The header text, I don't like that. We'll just leave it at the default, and we're going to say okay. And then we go back and look at the sheet and see that will match that. But we do want to fix this one. So we're going to go here. We're going to go to appearance, title text, and we can do the 1/4 inch Arial. And we'll go here, and now those match and look nice. So usually, you notice I have a presentation plan here. Usually on my prints, I will take all of my exterior perspective views, so all of like these views that we did before. I will usually take all of those and put those on the presentation page. And I usually have a couple of big ones that are really nice looking and the kind of the primary views. And then I do the other ones. And that's my presentation page. It's got all of those views. I also put all of my areas on that in the notes section. When we have something really, really small like this, then I'll usually condense things. The other thing is we don't have a bunch of interior views. We only really did the interior stuff just to have it on the first floor plan and to set it up for potential detailing in the future. So we don't have a bunch of interior views. Now, I would do some axon views with, you know, depending on level of complexity, like this, so we can see the roof better. Sometimes I would show some of these, and we might do that next go around because there's kind of a certain way to be able to do that. It's not normal. But right now I'm kind of thinking if we can fit things on 2 sheets, that's okay. So let's try this. It's 7:20. We are 10 minutes away from 2 hours, and we're so close to finished that I think I'm gonna go for it. So I'm going to right click on this, and I'm gonna do add view, and basically I'm going to, that's like super wimpy small. Bleh. We're gonna do, I'm gonna do 4 of these here, and I'm gonna do let's do like the front views. Well, I'm kind of thinking how I want to do this. Let's do the front and the rear and the front angledy ones. So we're gonna do rear. So we've got front and rear, and the front left, and we'll do the front right. Now, You go over here, this has this title on it, and I don't want that. So basically, I'm going to make another type for the viewport. I'm going to do edit type, and I'm going to do duplicate, and I'm going to do no title. And I'm going to, right here where it says view title, I'm going to change that to none. So do okay. So, oh, we got to get rid of the leader line as well. So extension line. Okay. So now I can change all of these to this no title. Now they're a little bit neater. So basically, I want to show, I'm going to put them like this. Actually, I'm going to put them like this. Front. Just kind of put on, the order kind of doesn't matter. It's kind of whatever you want. I'm going to do that. Now they're little itty bitty, but we're gonna fix that here in a minute. Over here on this sheet, I'm gonna put the rest of them. So I'm gonna do left and not really doing a good job of these going in any particular order. Rear left and right. Okay, so basically I will make it like we're pivoting around. So we'll do left, rear left, yeah, that'll work. We're gonna select all of those. I just multi-selected with the control button. And there. So we're gonna close all of this stuff. Now, I will say, I feel like we need to come back next week to clean some stuff up. I'm gonna do one other thing with these. I'm going to annotate the slopes. So I'm gonna tab to make sure I can grab the one that I actually want to grab. And I know that this is, I'm wanting to grab this angle right here. There, it's the 6. And you have to hunt around because it's grabbing some other information, and I don't want that. I want to make sure, see, that's not right. This is probably grabbing the corner angle that's coming down. And I'm just going to shrink that up a little bit. I'm going to scoot it down. Whoops! Oh, no. So I'm just going to shrink that up and we'll leave it right where it is. There we go. And then the same thing over here. It was just a little too big. Okay. Now, you could do all sorts of notes on here. You could, do specifications for if you have a very specific, you already know exactly what siding product you want, and you could do all that. I'm not going to. I'm just keeping this super basic. I'm literally only calling out the slopes on these roofs just because this is something I always put on there. Depending on the detail level that you do when you're doing this, might determine what things you're leaving to chance and what things you're not. So I'm just doing the spot slope, and I changed it to triangle. You don't have to do that. I like the triangle for my elevation views. So that's the 310. And now these are easier to get the correct spot. Usually you know what your actual slope is, and I know that it's not that. Whoops. So I will just kind of hunt around until I get the one that I know it is. So close to finished. Right. And let's see, we don't need our schedules right now. And we don't need that. Finish that one. Oh, we don't need that. We got that. I feel like I'm missing something. Let's look at our elevations and see. It's the left side. Yes, we want to save. Okay. Spot sloping it. 3 and 7, 7, 3. And I don't mind them being longer when they are, you can move these around where you want them. You can make them intentionally offset. I don't mind these being so long when they're low. They just, it kind of fits with the longer low feeling. All right, so that's all we needed to add to those. A little bit of more information. Put way more information on there if you need to, keeping it simple. So we've just got, we can get rid of that. So why are these so small? Well, we zoom in. If we click on this, you can double click on it. You can do this from this view. You can do this from here, or you can do this from here. I like doing it from here because it's on its sheet and I kind of have an idea of what I want it to do. So I'm just going to click that and I'm going to do size crop. I'm going to click scale. And then I'm going to do 6, and I'm just doing 6 inches. This is one place where you don't have to do the 0 space because we're talking about how big this is on a sheet, so it knows it's inches. So I can do 6, enter, and it's going to give me 6 inches. Now, I'm going to go back and show you what would happen. If I click on that and do size crop and I leave it as field of view and I do 6 inches, it's expanding the field of view. I want it to actually resize the boundary, the actual like crop region. So I'm doing the scale and I'm going to do 6. And then I'm going to look and see what it says this is. And it says 3 and 3/8. And I'm going to do 3.5 to standardize. I'm going to scoot this over here a little bit. And I think that's going to have to be quite a bit bigger, or we might just have some extra space on the page. And having some space on the page is not a bad thing because, you know, it gives builders and subs some room to scribble on if they need to jot something down. Make any notes, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. So I'm just making these all the same size. They probably could be, you know, maybe we want to rearrange these a little bit, but I'm gonna make them all the same size because I think that size is gonna work for us. Nope. 6, 3.5, 6, and 3.5. Okay. Now, see, these have their lines around them. Goodness, and these don't. So I'm going to double click that. I'm going to show the crop region. I'm going to end up hiding it, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it right now. And I'm going to rearrange these a little bit just because I think I can make this layout a little bit better. I feel like these go over here and maybe these go up here. Not sure that I like that. Okay, so I'm rearranging a little bit. I think I'm going to put these down here and these up here. I feel like my moving around might be in vain and I'm just putting everything in the same place but in a different manner. This might actually work. What I'm wanting to do is make these a little bit bigger because I just feel like, and I think I can multi-select these. Nope, can't. Okay, I gotta go one at a time. So let's try 7 inches, and I'm okay with whatever that is vertically. Just make sure you're clicking. Yeah, that'll work better. And I kind of want them to be taller just to fill that out a little bit. That's maybe a little too tall, but we can work with it. Now, if you are not going to print in color, then, or if these aren't going to be printed at all, you can, change the view of that. But what I'm going to do is because I like to standardize things and I like things to go, I like alignments. I don't like to eyeball things. I mean, I do eyeball some things, but not where things are laid out. So I'm tabbing to make sure that I catch anything that doesn't want to go. So I stuck those in the corner, not because I want them in the corner, but because I want to standardize their location. So this, I want to come up a little bit. I kind of want that to come over because that's the most prominent view. So basically, I'm going to select all of these and I'm going to move them up. Let's do, can't see that because it like went way over there. I'm moving these up 1 inch, and then I'm going to move these up 1 inch and see how that looks. Looks pretty good. And then I'm going to move them all over to the right 1 inch. And then I'm going to move those over. And I think that actually looks pretty good. That's a nice little grid down in there. These are the views that would normally be on my presentation page. But since this is really basic, I'm going to go ahead and let them be on here. And normally, I would then want them to be more at the top. But just the way that the sizes of everything are working out, I kind of like this. So I'm going to let these rest over here a little bit together. I'm going to let these kind of nudge together because I just like to group like with like. So all of this is just really pretty subjective as far as how do you want things laid out on the page? How do you want all that to look? You can scooch it around how much you want. We've got the information on there. So I'm going to go ahead, and now that I've got these right where I want them, I feel like I actually want them to come up. I'm going to move all of them up another inch. Actually, that was too much. I'm going to move them down a 1/2 inch. And this is what I do when I'm laying things out. Oh, nope, that's too much, not enough, whatever. And yeah, that's pretty good. I feel like these are kind of over here in no man's land. But basically, you could move this around until it's just perfect the way that you want it. And then call it good. I'm going to hit save. So that's one sheet. I'm going to, I don't know if this will let me multi-select these. No. Oh, well. No, you can't. You can't activate multiple views. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I activated that one. I double clicked on it and I got rid of the crop region. What that does is it leaves it like that. So I'm going to double click on each of these. Now here's the thing. When you print these, it will not show that crop region. Even if you leave it on there, it won't print with it. At least it doesn't on my plotter. And I print a PDF and then print from there. And I have an Epson plotter. But I don't know if it actually shows on the PDFs. I like it just to get rid of it. I can't remember if it actually shows on the PDFs and it just doesn't print in real life. I don't know how I don't know this. I'm going to have to look. So anyway, we're doing pretty good with all of this. And now we're going to go to this one. I'm going to do the same thing for these. So we want to change the size of everything. And I think I had those, what, 7 by 5. And we're going to see if, since we already know, we can do this. And I'm not 100% sure. I usually will do the width first and then adjust the height because it's all going to be dependent on each other. This might be, no, I think that'll fit. I'd like for them to be the same size as the other page because these usually would be on all on the same sheet together. This is just because we're really squishing everything down onto 2 sheets. Whoops, whoops, whoops. That did something so weird. I clicked something weird and it looks like it did something weird, but then it didn't do anything, which is weird. Okay, I've clicked on that. I think I almost did the same thing again. Okay, so basically, if I draw a dimension line from here to here, that shows me the center, or that lets me find the center. Then I can, oh, actually, I want this to come all the way down here. I'm going to grab the corner of that, and I'm going to stick it down there. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this corner. And then this one, come right down here. Maybe these are a little too wide for this, but it's not terrible. Oh no, my heights are not right. Oh no. Scale 5. Let's go make sure this is consistent. And this is why I usually do the scale and then I adjust. This is being so weird. Oh. Okay. I know why. This is why I do that one at a time, because I'm adjusting my width and then I'm adjusting. Okay. I don't know if this makes any sense. So when I was adjusting the width, I was sizing things on paper. So I need to click scale and then adjust the width to 7 and hit enter. And then I want to adjust the field of view to be 5, just so that they're all the same. Okay. Probably did not. I probably should have not been pushing so hard to finish tonight, but we're so close to finish. I really want to finish. Make sure I'm at the right spot. We're almost finished, y'all. Okay. So these are located, they don't have a whole lot of space, but you know what? I'm like, there's a whole lot of space between the ends. I'm okay with that. Let's see how much space we have here. We have 1 inch. So this is what we're going to do. I like these to be kind of big. So I'm going to move these over to the right. Well, I'm going to try to move these over to the right 1/8 of an inch. And then this one 1/4 of an inch. You know what? That's not what I wanted. I'm going to move these two over a 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to put a 1/2 inch in between each one. So I'm going to do 1/4 of an inch there. I just did my math wrong in my head. Okay, and then we do 1/2 inch there. And then these are going to, I'm having a hard time grabbing stuff. Yes, 1/4 of an inch. There we go. That does not look like how I want it to look. Ah! Here we go. Basically, I need to make these smaller. So I'm going to make them 6.5 inches. They're just a little bit too tight on the page for me. Now, since I'm doing the scale, it's going to adjust the height too, and they'll be all the same. So no worries with that. I just did that wrong, didn't I? I think there's some things that I cannot talk into at the same time. Okay, so these basically now have a meh. Just a lot of moving around. Okay, now I have 2 inches over here, and then I'll have 2 inches over there, which means I have 4 inches of excess space. So if I put 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 5 sections. So I'll leave extra on the outside. So let's move this over. Let's move this a half. Oh, well, I did something weird. Okay, 0, half an inch. Let's do a half an inch. And then let's do an inch. I don't like that. I do a lot of, well, let's try that. I don't like that. There's a quarter of an inch, and here's a half an inch. Nope. Okay. A little bit more. Let's do 3/8 inches, and then 3/4 inches. And that, folks, is the sweet spot. So 3/8 inches and 3/4 inches. And since we've got, what have we got on the sides? I think it should be an inch. No, 7/8. So if we move these, all 4 of these up 7/8 of an inch, we have the same amount of space on each side, and that looks really nice. It doesn't always work out like that, but I will try to go for it when I can. So we've got pretty much some nice spacing here and here, and then these look okay. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that crop region for each one, and we are seriously almost finished. And I kind of hate to be like so tired when we're wrapping this up, but I'm actually really excited about this. So there's one more thing. I keep saying one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. We're going to delete our presentation page because we don't need it. And we're going to change this one. I'm going to slow click on this. We're going to change the number on this to 1. It's kind of dumb that we even have them numbered now. We've only got 2. But the whole point of this was basic plans. And learning Revit. So we've been doing 2 things at the same time, learning how to draw a basic set of house plans, but also how to use Revit. So if you have followed along to this point and you followed this and your house looks remotely like this, or, you know, it's really more you, I mean, this is a big deal. And we're on what, episode 7? So we've done this, if we had an average of 2 hours, in 14 hours. That's actually amazing. And if you knew how long it took me to do projects, or how long it would have taken me to do this at the beginning, absolutely insane. So we're gonna close these. We don't need those. We need to do definitely two things. We need to look over our floor plan just to review our dimensions. And this isn't going to be perfect. I'm not sending this out the door to a client or anything. If I were going to, or if I sell this for, stock plans or anything like that, I would look it over a little bit more closely. But basically, we're just going to do a quick check to make sure we've got from a wall to a window to a door to a wall to a window to a door. And then here we've got our window, wall. We've got these walls here, wall, wall, wall. And then we've got all the way across. We've got our columns located, and I like to do that from the edge. And then we're going to add this one. I like that to come off this side. We're going to add that one right there. We're just checking to see if we've missed anything. Over here we don't have any windows, so we've got our wall. That one doesn't matter. It's kind of a little flex wall. We've got that wall and that wall. And then we've got this. We've got this window, wall, wall, door. We actually don't need that one in there. It's redundant. So I'm going to redo, since that was all a string. I did not need that in there. Did I not delete that? I meant to delete that. Okay. So this is basically just a little bit of cleanup on the drafting end of it. So we've caught all of our windows in there. And now we've got, this is catching our walls. We don't need the whole thing because we've got it up here. It could go either place really. And then over here, we're catching our windows. We don't have any other walls to do, and we've got the whole thing caught over here. And then over here, oh, you know what? That is the wrong style. Okay, but we got all of our columns located. So, and just checking inside, we've got our doors located for the most part. Doors, just kind of glancing over. That's a little awkward over there. Still a little awkward, but it'll do. I think we've got all of our walls located. So basically, you don't have to over dimension things. If you have a wall, it needs to be located. So if it's located on the outside, you don't have to locate it on the inside. Now, if it's super confusing and you just really feel like you need to, you can. But I like to make sure that my walls are located in one location, and that's usually pretty good. This right here, see, doesn't necessarily need to be done, but I'm just going to leave it. And then we've got our kitchen, just overall dimensions in here. That's fine. I'm going to go like this. You can drag these around a little bit if they're kind of in the way. That's a little awkward there, but do this to the front of this cabinet. And that'll work. So that's pretty good. There could be some other things you could put in there, but everything is basically located. And another reason for having the 1/4 inch equals 1 foot scale is because 4 feet on here is going to measure 1 inch on a tape measure. So if there's something that did get missed, like if I forgot to locate this wall or something like that, a builder could just take this, pull out their tape measure, and they pull that and they go, oh, that's exactly 1 inch from center to center on that. That is 4 feet. And they would know that. And they're used to picking things up like that. So if you want something specific for some reason, make sure that dimension's on there. If not, they're going to get it pretty close. So that looks really good. And then there's one more thing. I promise this has to be like the one more thing, the last thing. We're going to go look here at our area plan. Save the project. We did miss something we need to catch in here, so we're going to go ahead and catch that. We're going to go to the architecture tab. We need to do area boundary. We need to dimension our I wonder if it'll let me pick that. No, it won't. We need to dimension our porches, and so I'm going to go ahead and do this, or not dimension them. We need to we might have missed a dimension on that. I think they're on there. With this, I'm not going to the framing. I'm actually going to the edge. So I've done a boundary there. And then I'm doing another boundary here. And then we're going to do an area. Just click an area and pop that in there. And then when you're doing this, it shows you where they're already boundaries. So this right here, we're going to name this, clicking on that. This is, whoops, front porch area. There we go. And this is, I'm just going to say back porch area. So we've got all those areas on there. Now, this is what I want to do over here. We're going to make a note. So we're going to go annotate text. We'll go ahead and leave this like this right now. Yeah, we'll just leave it as Arial. It'll be fine. Okay, I'm going to make a note that I make sure I'm going to have it on caps lock. Areas. Okay. And then I'm going to do, I'm going to change to this one. And I'm going to do, that's like really small. You know what? Forget that. Scratch that. We're just going to make it all the same. So we're going to click in here. And we're going to go down. And I'm going to do, first floor gross construction area. And actually, I feel like we're going to adjust how that's spaced out. See if we can get that to fit in there. We might have to change the size. And then that is going to be, what was that? It's 1280. So 1280 square feet. Oops. Front porch area is 281 square foot. Back porch area, just typing all this out, 281 square feet. So total construction area is, and then we just need to whip out a calculator and add that up. 1280 plus 281 plus 281 is 1842. 1842 square feet. And because I am paranoid of having the wrong numbers, I'm going to add that up again. 281 plus 1280 going backwards, 1842. Okay, so we want to put this in here. And normally I would put this on the presentation page and there would be more information, like I'll break down the conditioned area, but this is pretty straightforward here. So this is honestly even a little bit overkill. So that's just too big in there, but the 32 is too small. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try in between, and I'm also going to do, trying to think, well, let's do 1/8 inch, oops, architect's daughter. It's 3/32 bigger than that. This is a little itty bitty, then I'll adjust it. No, that's fine. That's probably about what I do. So we're just going to put that right there. And, you know, you can go in here, you can adjust these a little bit. I like to make that bold and underline it. And then the same thing with this down here. I'll bold it and I will, actually don't need to underline that. And this is, that's pretty much centered in there. Can lift it a little bit, and you can change, the sizes or the font or whatever you need. That's pretty good. So I'm gonna hit save. Let's just look this over. So the things that we've got on here, absolute most crucial thing, your first floor plan. Here we are 2.5 hours in. Your first floor plan. We've got window schedule and door schedule. Now, doing super basic plans, we could have just notated those on there, but this is how I do things because I feel like providing that information is important. And even my basic plans tend to have a higher level of detail than a lot of people's just normal, like their only plan. And so I like having that on there, but we've got our schedules. We have got our area plan that shows all of our areas that are under roof or that are important. And then we've got a room plan showing the sizes of each of our rooms. We've got some imagery on here. That could be done however you want it to do. And then we've got our exterior elevations. Now we could mess around with line weights and all that. If we turn off the thin lines, it's not doing it. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that. If we turn off the thin lines, we're going to see that our line weights are a little bit crazy. Honestly, gonna leave that for now. And when we pick this back up, we'll take a look at that. But we've got our exterior elevations on here. We've got some basic slopes on here, and then we got the rest of our imagery. So the only thing, we did not put our roof plan on here. We didn't put a roof plan on here. And you know what? I'm okay with that. We're going to save it. It's not just totally necessary. This is very straightforward, and you can figure out this roof. If you can't figure out this roof from these elevations, you probably don't need to be building. It's very clearly a gable with this little porch roof with it, this little hipped porch roof. So I did plan to put that on there. The one thing I was going to put it on there and then leave off the areas, the roof areas, but you know what? It's totally fine. The products that I sell, my basic plans, what they, come with is a floor plan and exterior elevations. So basically that's what I advertise that they come with, and the area plans. Basically everything else is considered extra on top of that. So this is pretty good. This is really exciting. So if you have followed along from the beginning, even if you didn't join with us live, if you, maybe you're a student and you are, you've come back to school and now, you have access to your software and computers and stuff like that, and you're binging through this stuff. I hope that you enjoy it. If you have questions watching this on the replay, please ask in the comments and I'll try to answer those as much as I can. So what we're going to do is, I do plan to carry this on and take it to a level of more detail, but I wanted to use this as a good example of just basic plans. If somebody can build a house from this. We've got the floor plan and the exterior elevations. We've got our basic information on there, and then we've got a little bit of extra going on because we've got some imagery that helps paint that picture a little bit better. This is a totally buildable set of plans. And but it's got a lot of flexibility built into it, and sometimes people want that because they want to figure out some things on site and make it their own, or sometimes people just want an inexpensive and fast set of plans, and that's what this is. Now I'm also going to use this on my website as an example of what you would get with basic plans because I need that. And now that I've put this out there, somebody's totally gonna, steal this plan. Please don't steal my plan, but it's not like it's anything revolutionary. So I'm kind of using it to kill multiple birds with one stone, like I like to do. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a month off, maybe 2 months. We're here mid-July. we might come back maybe like early September, something like that. I'm not exactly sure yet, but definitely gonna take at least a month off, and maybe up to 2 months. And just, we're not gonna have any live streams. I'm still gonna be posting videos. I'm still gonna be posting some Revit videos. I'm gonna be posting a lot of videos of my projects. I have 2 projects that are in progress right now that are being filmed, and I learned really quickly that I only need to have one project going on that's actually being filmed, because it's a lot to deal with. So I'm going to focus on that so I can give them my attention, because not only am I filming and sharing them, they're actually projects that I'm doing the design work and the plans. So my first priority is to take care of my clients and make sure that they are just really getting that level of attention that they deserve. So but what we're going to do is we're going to pick this up. We're leaving this right here. And I'm actually probably going to make this set of plans available for sale on my, with my stock plans. So if you see this and you're like, oh, I'd like to buy some plans for that. If you really want that, email me at building313@hotmail.com and I will make you a deal. And these are pretty much ready to go. I could email you a PDF of these tomorrow if you wanted. But then we're going to come back in here and we're going to develop the kitchen. We're maybe going to mess around with the windows, and we're going to just develop. We're going to add some interior elevation views, some section views. We're just going to develop it to a higher level of detail and show what you can do. You can do this basic level, but you can do more. And then, if you're doing this for a living and you're new and you're trying to figure this out, you can decide what your different options are, because this, if I were doing this and not teaching you guys at the same time and how to do Revit, this would have been just a super fast, knock this out. This wouldn't have taken me very much time at all. But doing the detail, that takes more time and takes more effort, and it's just thinking through things more carefully. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. I really, really appreciate everybody. I think I've been alone the entire time tonight, and that's okay, because if this is going to sit here and 2 years from now, this helps somebody out, that's okay. That's why I've done it. So we're going to be taking that break, but if you enjoyed this, if you found this helpful at all, please let me know down in the comments, even if it's a few years down the road, and maybe we're not even using a different version of Revit. And, like I said, my next round of lives, I don't plan on doing live streaming all the time, because it does get to be a lot to handle. But I'm going to be doing this in series. So this is our first series, modeling just this basic home. Our next series of live streams is definitely going to be taking this exact same home and developing it in further detail. The next set of live streams, be another series beyond that. I mean, I'd like to do one. I have no idea. I haven't got that far yet. So if you have something, maybe it'll just be like another house, I don't know, that we can follow along and just maybe do something different. But if you have any ideas or requests for that, let me know. But if you enjoyed this, please like this video, and please subscribe to my little baby channel that is slowly growing. And if you don't want to miss my next videos that'll be coming out, please hit that notification bell. And I think that's it. I'm talking, and here I am. Now my face is big. But yeah, please like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know if you have requests. And I guess that wraps up this series. Yay, I'm so excited. We have completed our first live stream series. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining, and I'm signing off. I'll see you in a few months. Bye.